The battle over mask mandates in Douglas County has been quite bitter and angry. Under new rules, some parents sent their kids to school without masks today. But of course, school is also about science and math. We won't make you do algebra, but we've got a formula for a great story.
I think this class is mostly to teach you and prepare you for kind of like the real world.
And we might as well go all in with a civics lesson. Your mailbox is about to get a ballot and our politics guy is nerding out. We're not stopping. A history lesson about Columbus Day in Colorado. What is this? Is this school? Kinda, but fun, like recess. Next. Who wants to open their mailbox and find something besides bills and car warranty letters and more bills? Try opening your mailbox tomorrow and you might see a surprise, though you may not be as excited as our politics guy, Marshall Zellinger.
Today is still a postal holiday. This euphoria will have to wait.
Wedgehead, it's ballot day.
Until tomorrow.
It's ballot day.
This is how I reacted last year when I was still working from home on the day ballots arrived. Poor Wedgehead. But statewide, history suggests only 2 out of 5 of you watching really cares. Find your county on this map. I averaged voter turnout in 2015, 2017, and 2019. No county had more than 60% participation. The average was 37% of ballots returned. Now watch as I show the average from 2016, 2018, and 2020. In those even years combined, no county had less than 60% participation. The average, 73%. What's my point? If history repeats itself, a small number of your neighbors will be making decisions for you in November. Lone Tree voters are being asked for a sales tax increase of 1% for the next 10 years to pay for streets, public safety, parks, and open space. But in all of Douglas County, not just Lone Tree, only 41% of registered voters voted in the last 3 odd-year elections. In the last 3 even-year elections, 79% of Douglas County voters turned in their ballots. The city of Littleton is asking for a 0.75% sales tax increase, also for streets, public safety, and other city improvements. In all of Arapahoe County, in the last 3 odd-year elections, 32% of voters participated. In the last 3 even-year elections, 72%. And City of Boulder voters are being asked to allow more unrelated people to live under the same roof. 1 person for every bedroom in the house, plus 1 more. The last 3 odd-year elections saw 41% turnout in Boulder, compared to 75% turnout in the last 3 even-year elections. Coloradans just give elections less attention in an odd number of years, though that's not unique. Let me offer this bit. I get a lot of emails from viewers, and I hear from friends complaining about elections. Go figure. Vote. And if your side loses, complain away. Don't vote. I don't want to hear it. You have the choice to sway a decision right now, at least tomorrow when you get your ballot. And if you don't use it, my eyes for these emails, my ears for these complaints have better things to do.
You know, I always say the moment you step out your front door, you're affected by local government. Sidewalks, police, the quality of your streets, this stuff matters.
Yeah, when you're being asked for sales tax money or people in charge, city council and other things, these are the people that will decide how money gets spent, how resources are used. Will you have plowed roads? Will you have that pothole repaired? Like, this is really where it matters.
It matters. Thank you, Marshall. After months of yelling, fighting, protesting, and testy public meetings over mask mandates in Douglas County, a big day today. For the first time in that county, parents were able to send their kids to school without masks. This is the first day masks are no longer required under the county's new Board of Health. As we've been following, the county essentially broke up with Tri-County Health over COVID mandates. Now some parents are accusing Douglas County commissioners of letting the fight over masks compromise their kids' health and safety.
They're pandering to their base. This is a particular political platform, and what they've done is politicized a pandemic.
I don't think it's political when parents are begging us to give their children the opportunity to learn in school. So we are listening to our constituents.
The Douglas County School District is still asking students and staff and visitors to wear masks inside school buildings. However, the school district must accept the exemptions in the public health order. They can now include any negative impact on a person's physical and/or mental health. A doctor has found the suspect in the Boulder King Super shooting not competent to proceed. That's the result of a court-ordered evaluation. That evaluation happened at the request of the suspect's defense attorneys. The suspect is facing dozens of charges, including 10 counts of first-degree murder. 10 people were killed in the shooting back in March. Prosecutors in Boulder County have requested another evaluation as well as a hearing on the first evaluation. A judge will decide if the suspect should stand trial amid this news. Right now, the suspect is scheduled to be in court later this week. It felt a bit like Denver police were using dial-up internet this weekend when it came to letting the public know about critical public safety issues. On Sunday night, they tweeted about a shooting 6 hours after it happened. They tweeted about a hit and run that seriously injured a pedestrian an hour and a half after it happened. When DPD shut off public access to their radios 2 summers ago, the chief promised transparency. But our Steve Steger found a few incidents in the last week that don't seem to live up to that promise.
This is a story chock full of generic video. How's that for an attention grabber? Trust me, things happened at each of these locations, but the public didn't find out about them for hours. Sunday night, DPD sent out a tweet at 9:18 p.m. about a hit and run that seriously injured a pedestrian at Colfax and Vine. I ran out with the camera, found nothing. Turns out it happened an hour and a half earlier. The department sent this tweet about a shooting yesterday, too. Alert, it said. A shooting occurred at 2 p.m. They tweeted it just before 8 p.m., almost 6 hours later. It's like the hit and run of a scooter rider near Broadway and Colfax last week. That happened just around 5. DPD tweeted just before 9 p.m. And this morning,
it was very apparent to people in the area that this was very serious.
Amanda Roberts was driving near Evans and Monroe when traffic slowed to a crawl, and she saw a man lying in the road and the driver of a parked SUV standing over him.
The man was lying face down on the pavement. His arm was like this. He was motionless. You could see the blood.
She wanted to know what happened.
I checked Twitter. Usually DPD will have something.
Nothing. When DPD cut off access to their police radios, the public lost access to real-time info about crime. Getting you that real-time information might help solve a crime sooner or help you avoid an area where something's happened. Now we have to rely on police to communicate it to us. They told me today that all of the lagging information from this weekend was because of a new employee not included on an email list. The other hit and run last week, they said that they wait to tweet about traffic incidents until they know how serious injuries are, which can take time. And in the case of that man lying in the road this morning, they say a driver hit him, but his injuries weren't serious enough to post about it.
So it's not really a judgment call. It's like the thing happened. Let's find out information about it and get the facts so that we can prevent it in the future.
Now, when DPD cut off access to the police radio, they did offer media outlets an unencrypted way to listen, but it came with a catch, a clause in a standard city contract that would allow police to audit our records, and a clause that essentially gave them editorial control over how we used what we heard on the radio. No major media outlet in town has agreed to those terms. The city doesn't seem to want to budge on them yet. So here we are.
Yeah, and you know, in an age where we hear about mass shootings, and God forbid something else happens like this again, this is why real-time scanner information is important to let the public know what's going on their streets.
There's a really robust conversation going on right now about how journalists need to stop just reporting what the police tell you and taking that as the full, all-encompassing story of something that happened. But it's awfully difficult to gather information about a story unless you can get there while there's still a scene and witnesses, and you can kind of tell and piece together what happened.
News happens now. Thank you, Steve. Your Word of Thanks micro-giving campaign continues with Seniors Resource Center, a nonprofit that offers help to caregivers and their loved ones. Here's Kyle with an update on your progress.
Thank you for another week of your generosity through your next Word of Thanks microgiving campaign. Together, you raised almost $17,000 for Seniors Resource Center. They're working to give caregivers a much-needed break. Caregiving was strained to the max during the pandemic, the isolation, the added responsibilities. Seniors Resource Center is about to open its adult day center in Wheat Ridge and welcome back some senior Coloradans who are craving connection with others in the community and give their caregivers the break that they need to recharge. I'll be back on Wednesday with our next Word of Thanks idea.
Columbus Day holdouts aside, on this Indigenous Peoples Day, we talk about who was here first and one way the state is giving back to Native Americans. Plus, algebra and real-life skills at one school. Find us, next. Alrighty, let's take a look back at our past in our Random Colorado History segment. This is where we look at Colorado news items exactly 100 years ago to the day. We turn the pages of the Pueblo Chieftain on October 11th, 1921. We find an article about the Knights of Columbus getting ready to celebrate Columbus Day. It says, quote, Colorado was the first state in the Union to recognize the discovery of this continent by the eminent explorer. Of course, Columbus didn't discover this continent since there were already native peoples here. He didn't even set foot on what is today known as the United States. Last year, Colorado's state legislature got rid of Columbus Day and it replaced it with Mother Cabrini Day on the first Monday in October. While Colorado no longer recognizes Columbus Day, it remains a federal holiday, and there are still Columbus Day holdouts who've chosen to embrace it as more states, cities, and towns ditch Columbus. Congresswoman Lauren Boebert made a stop in Pueblo today to mark Columbus Day. The rally centered around Pueblo's monument of Christopher Columbus there. The statue has been the target of vandalism and protests and controversy as his legacy has been associated with centuries of colonization and violence towards Native peoples. Today, Congresswoman Boebert spent time at the rally trying to overshout nearby protesters. She claimed Columbus can't be canceled. For that reason today, many people are recognizing Indigenous Peoples Day. Take Denver, for example. The land that we're broadcasting from right now once belonged to the Apache, Ute, Cheyenne, and Comanche peoples. They lived here for hundreds of years before Colorado became a state. The city of Denver has recognized Indigenous Peoples Day for the past 5 years. Acknowledging a day is one thing. Here's something Colorado is doing. Senate Bill 29 passed earlier this year. It grants in-state tuition to members of American Indian tribes with ties to Colorado. Enter Jenna Whiteplume. She's a freshman at CU Boulder who grew up in Lander, Wyoming, a small town just outside the Wind River Reservation. She's a member of the Northern Arapaho tribe and the first CU Boulder student to benefit from this new law. This new law could save students like Whiteplume thousands of dollars throughout their studies. Right now, CU Boulder enrolls about 200 students per year who identify as Native American or Alaska Native. CU's chancellor says he hopes this new law will help grow that number.
Windy and warm along the Front Range today ahead of a storm that will bring colder weather and snow to the mountains. Our high close to 70. We'll look for temperatures in the 60s tomorrow with accumulating snow. We've got winter weather and travel advisories posted for the northern and central mountains, anywhere from 4 to 8 inches of snow. The southern mountains under a winter storm warning could see well over a foot of snow in the San Juan Range. For Denver, it'll be mainly a rain event, but cold enough on Thursday that rain could mix with snow. Tonight, partly cloudy and 38. Tomorrow's high in the 60s. We've got rain coming in. A nice break on Wednesday. Thursday's the colder day with, again, a rain-snow mix Thursday night into Friday morning.
In one Metro Denver high school, kids are actually getting amped about algebra.
AMPed actually originally stood for Algebra 1, Manufacturing Processes, Entrepreneurship, and Design.
I'm horrible at math, but I'm happy to talk about this story. Next. You know, math class can be stressful for some students, trying to memorize variables and all those like weird math symbols. But a high school in Jeffco is taking a different approach. Our Byron Reed has their story.
-4
For some students, it takes a lot of concentration
equals 6.
to get a good grade in math class.
Like a year ago, I never really looked forward to math.
Anna Carballo is a freshman at Green Mountain High School and is taking a unique class that teaches math skills that apply to the real world.
Algebra could turn into like variables, like you don't know how many t-shirts you're gonna sell, so you need to figure out how many you have to sell so you can make a profit.
She's part of a class called Amped on Algebra.
AMPed actually originally stood for Algebra 1, Manufacturing Processes, Entrepreneurship, and Design.
A class that combines math.
This is kind of like T-shirt HQ.
With the hands-on experience of running a t-shirt printing business.
Oh, it costs this much per shirt. It costs this much to decorate that shirt. We can sum those two costs. And so then we do that, and then we can actually tie the math side into it to find a break-even point if we price it out at a certain amount to sell it.
Alex Atkinson is the founder of the program that teaches about business analysis and bottom lines. He says all the profits go back to the students.
That it goes to kids' projects. You know, they all make their own shirts, designs, things like that. It goes into fund that, and then it also can help us maintain and expand equipment.
So we're gonna use different images.
Carballo says now she's using math and applying it to something fun.
And I think I've learned more in this class.
So she can focus her attention on what's next after high school.
I kind of took this class knowing that I wanted to go into business anyway.
For next.
But just learning more about business has really established the fact that I really want to do that.
I'm Byron Reed.
Nice lesson. Atkinson says the AMPed program is in 9 schools in the Jeffco district and in 250 schools nationwide. Time now for a recommendation. This is from our producers today. Today is National Coming Out Day, when people in the LGBTQ+ community celebrate being who they are openly. This morning, Jordan Chavez and Eddie Randall here at 9 News told their own personal stories. They opened up about the complicated emotions involved with coming out.
I am just me. I am completely me. I don't care what anybody else thinks. And I think it was always guarded because I was afraid I can't be myself because I haven't told my parents who I am.
When you are still in the closet, it's like holding your breath and you are just waiting for that moment when you can finally breathe.
Our Ariel Orsuto also tweeted her thoughts on National Coming Out Day. She says, for some, Coming Out Day is liberating. For others, it may be terrifying. Just know you're not alone. Our recommendation today is to listen to some of these stories. You can find a link to their stories, their brave stories, on the Next Facebook page. Stick around for a sign that could have you yelling in the bathroom. Next. Welcome back. It's a sign, and I'll tell you, if you're gullible, you're probably going to fall for this one. Randy Nusser sent us this photo, courtesy of Vail Brewing Company. The sticker on this paper towel dispenser reads, "Voice activated, say loudly, paper towel now." Okay, so would you fall for this? I looked online. Apparently you can order these stickers as a gag, and I think we all know somebody who would fall for this. And if you say, no, I don't know anybody who would fall for that, maybe you're that person. Let's talk about some viewer feedback here. Doug is crazy. Says, Jeremy Hohola, you might memorize formulas, but not variables. Good thing that you're a journalist. Okay, I'll give you that one. 1 point to you there, Doug. Thank you so much for watching. And then Judy in Loveland says, just wanted to know, I think you're doing a fine job reporting the 9 News. Thanks. I'll print that out and send that to my management.